I know that you are not happy with your job. Yeah? I remember my last job, I wasn't happy with it either. The job before that, I wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy with the one before that. I wasn't happy with the one before that. I wasn't happy with the one before that. I've never actually been happy with any of my jobs, bro. And I've actually worked in some very interesting environments and industries. But for the most part, I've never enjoyed my jobs. So I started to think about this a lot because I know a lot of us have either been in the rat race before or are still in the rat race right now. And this video is for you because I was thinking about it. I actually did some research and they're currently saying that there are 6 million people in the UK that are suffering from job dissatisfaction. Now, considering the fact that there's either about 70 million or just over 70 million pushing now, and only 6 million people are feeling that way, I don't believe it. That's cappuccino. I'm not buying it, bro, because at the end of the day, when I'm on that commute to work, whether I'm taking a bus, whether I'm taking a tube, and obviously for my American audience, you guys will call it the subway or whatever have you, when I'd be on that commute, bro, I'm seeing some of the angriest, sour faces one could possibly look at. And I'm talking like you could just be so much as a little bit polite to some of these people and they're walking past you, barging past you. They don't care. And you know what it is? They're going to a job that they know is siphoning them of their energy, it's taking away their joy, and it's taking away their happiness. So we have to start asking ourselves a certain type of questions that will get us from where we are today in the jobs that we hate to where we're trying to be, where we can suck our jobs, we can fire our boss. So they're trying to say right now that there are 6 million people in the UK that are currently experiencing job dissatisfaction out of almost 70 odd million. I'm not buying it. I think them stats are either underreported or just a blatant lie, because we all know, like, especially if you're on your commute to work, bro, if you've grown up in London, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure my American audience know for sure what it feels like to be on your commute to work and you're seeing some of the most angriest, sour, moody Margaret faces one could possibly see, all in one morning. And then you got to do the same thing back on the rush hour and no one's happy, because it's not just your job, bro. It's also the commute. It's the environment when you get there. It's your co-workers. It's all of these things wrapped up into one that just makes someone say, do you know what? I don't want to be here no more. I don't want to be here no more. So it was funny, I was listening to this Tony Robbins clip and it was like a short 4 to 5 minute audio just of him talking about the fact that if you don't know your purpose in life, if you don't know the things that make you happier, if you don't know the things you enjoy doing and want to get paid for these things, you need to discover it and you need to make it non-negotiable and mandatory to actually get to a point where you can say, I want to do this for myself, I want to do that with myself. But too many of us are stuck in the rat race, like I said. So we don't really give any thought to that, right? So when you're not giving any thought to that, now all of a sudden, you're just a robot. You're just paying bills. And guess what AI is doing? Replacing your jobs. That's happening daily. Like, if I'm being quite frank, I'll probably say about 3 of my jobs ChatGPT could easily do. Easily. Like, from the comfort of its own home, ChatGPT could easily do what I would do. And it's like you start to look at the world around you and you're saying to yourself, I'm not happy, and then on top of that, my job isn't even safe. But I think what happens now is that too many people are trapped in this little bubble where it's like, no, my job is secure, like my boss loves me. This is not true. Like, you got to understand. I remember one of my favorite content creators in this space, actually, Aaron Knightley, he talks about it all the time. No one's gonna stand up at your funeral doing your eulogy and say, whatever your name is, I don't know your name, but let's just say your name's Greg. Greg was the most amazing forklift driver in the world. Or Barry was one of the most head-driven, head-screwed-on type of bricklayers I've ever seen. I've never seen someone like Melissa do what she does in HR when she's typing away and making people's lives misery. No one's gonna go to your funeral and say any of these things. No one. And I remember, it's funny, God rest my dad's soul, but I remember when I was about 15, I was walking with him on the way to work. So he was going work, I was going school, and we walked to the same exact point of the end of the road, and that's where we'd split off and go our separate ways. And my dad was saying to me, look, son, I'm so proud of you. Like, even at your young age, you commit yourself to your creativity and all of these things that you've got in mind. And those that don't know me very well wouldn't know that I've always considered myself as someone that's very outspoken. So even to my dad giving me my plaudits, I said, no, I'm not happy, Dad. Like, I still feel as if I'm not on track to where I want to be. And my dad saw from a young age that I've always tried to hold myself to a high degree of account, because at the end of the day, I wasn't satisfied with leaving school, just going to uni, racking up debt that I can't afford to pay until I'm probably dead and gone, and then I'm passing that on to someone else, like my kids or my grandkids. I wasn't happy with the idea that the trajectory of my life was looking like school, then uni, then job. Even from then, at 14, 15 years of age. So we need to start asking ourselves, now that we are probably secure within the whole realm of adulthood, where are we right now? Where are we? And where are we going, more to the point? Because like I said, no one's going to commend you for being the best quote unquote job title that you are in right now when you're dead. No one. No one cares. Because even now, you got to think about it. If you called in sick one too many times, what's going to happen? Because you got restrictions on your annual leave and how much time and holiday you're allowed to take off. All of these things exist to suppress you. And in turn, what does it do? It makes you less of yourself. It makes you a shell of the person that you used to be. And I want us to really start committing ourselves to the goals that we have set in plan, that we have in our plan, But not only that, I want us to actually say to ourselves, all right, I've got this on my mind, I've got that on my mind, and I'm going to do it because I feel as if it's connected to something higher. I feel as if it's connected to something deeper. Let's get rid of the surface level thinking and the low hanging fruit that we try to go for, because we're saying, oh, well, our job is this and our job is that, it pays the bills. Yeah, I know it does, but what about the risk? It was even a conversation I was having with my mum the other day, and I was saying to my mum that I've been in some very financially challenging situations that, in my humble opinion, have been crazy, absolutely crazy. And it takes craziness to get out of them, hence me being in America right now. Because I have to do something drastic. As I said to you guys the other day, difference between drastic and desperate. I'm not desperate to change my situation, but I am drastic about it, because I know there's certain things that I can no longer allow if I want to live a higher sense of reality that I know not every single person around me is going to get the opportunity to feel, because they're not willing to take that gamble. They're not willing to bet on themselves. They're not willing to try. We have to be in a situation where that's what we're doing. So like I said, back to that Tony Robbins video, I was watching it, I was saying to myself, the man's right. How are we sitting around just as everyday human beings and happy to be roboticized to the point that our job is just another thing, like a birthmark or something? Like it's become a part of us, and we feel as if we're so attached to it that we can't remove ourselves from it. I'm telling you guys, it's very important. So what I've even done is, because we've got our stan.store link, which is where you can find all of our services and stuff, but what I've also done is I've just put together a little video where you can see how to actually find our guide on how to leave your 9 to 5, because I feel as if it's worth a good read for anyone who is in a situation right now where you feel as if your job is depressing you, where you feel as if your job is making you feel bogged down, you feel tired every day you come home from work. Yes, these are things that are part of the job, these are things that are part of being an adult, but they don't have to be a reality forever. They don't. And you have to start taking ownership of that. I had to start taking ownership of that. Josh Jordan had to start taking ownership of that. So no one's exempt. Whether we want to admit it or not, we're not. So now is the time to get going. And we really want to see you guys at the top, where you belong, in whatever field, in whatever service, in whatever product that you've got in your mind. Let's get to it. Drop it in the comments. Like, what are you working towards? Because like I keep saying, we want this to be a community. We want this to be something that we talk about on a regular amongst each other. So let's get going. Let's get going. If you know that your 9 to 5 has held you down for far too long, let us know. Let us know, because we've been there. We relate to this. This was our daily life at one point, and it feels horrible. It feels horrible, but it's a mental switch before it's a physical switch. And we will be doing more content about this topic, because we have put together certain frameworks to try and assist you guys with that transition from worker bee to hustler, from employee to CEO. And that life cycle is something that we believe everyone can do if they put their mind to it, not for the weak-hearted.